welcome back to Rick's Room. Now, this is the show where we simulate the end of a busy conference. You've been there, you've been working the floor, your feet are, you're exhausted. You get to the lobby, maybe the hotel bar, finally get to sit down in a comfortable seat, and then you see someone walking across the floor that you've wanted to talk to all day long, and this is your chance. Now, before COVID, when I was going to millions of conferences all over the place, this was my favorite part of the show. And then COVID came, nobody was doing it, and now I don't do it nearly as often, and I miss that. So with this show, I recreate it. And each episode, I try to introduce you to someone that you should probably know. And my next guest is absolutely no exception. Now, this guy is a master connector. He's an entrepreneur. He's a networking expert. He helps businesses create authentic relationships and strategic partnerships. He does summits. He coaches entrepreneurs. He builds communities. He wrote a book called The Guy Who Knows a Guy. And that's how I and many of the people who know him now think of him. His name is Michael Whitehouse. Michael, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show because you, like most of my guests, come from inside my industry. But when I participated in one of your summits, I thought, wow, this is a great way to network that I haven't seen before. And I want to talk to you about that in a minute. But first of all, give our viewers a little bit of history, a little bit of background on you, because I know my introduction was substandard. But how do you talk about yourself?
You captured it pretty well. So basically, I sprang full formed out of the earth in 2020. Nothing before that really matters. There was some stuff that happened, but I got started as a connector because I didn't know anything else. I knew people, and I knew people who need to know those people. Started making those connections and discovered that got me somewhere. And then I met more people who taught me things, and met more people, and they taught me things. And after you talk to 3,000 entrepreneurs, you learn a little bit about business. And that's now what I call upon as I do coaching and consulting and supporting. But I've always been about connecting people, building communities, and that's where the summits came from. Similar to you, when I go to an event, my favorite part is that the hallway, the bar, the lobby, that's where the good stuff is. The speakers are what get people to show up.
Right.
The lobby afterwards, that's where the real action happens.
Yeah.
And I was really disappointed when I went to these online events, because a lot of these events prior to COVID, I couldn't afford to go to. And I'd be like, oh, I wish I could go. And then they were all online. I'm like, this is great. And then I went to the events online, and it was just the speakers and nothing else. And I'm like, this is the worst part of the event. Nothing against speakers. I like speakers.
Yeah.
But I go there for the connections afterwards between I'm an extrovert. That's where I get my payoff. So I started running my own summits, and I ran live summits, contemporaneous virtual summits. And I had a lot of interaction in them. So I'd have people, we'd go into breakout rooms, we'd do live roundtables and live hot seats on Zoom. And that worked pretty well. But the problem with a live summit is people have to show up live. They need 6 hours, sit in front of their computer and join us. And I still run them occasionally. But last fall, I discovered the concept of what I now call the Easy Summit. And that is a 15-minute audio on demand format. So the summit runs for a month. So 28 to 31 days, depending on which month it is. Audience can listen to whichever talks they want whenever they want to. Some people are in front of their computer taking notes to listen. Some people are on the treadmill. Some people are walking the dog. A summit is really a chance to sample a whole bunch of potential experts, potential vendors, potential coaches, and then decide, I like that one. I like the sound of their voice. I like the cut of their jib. I like their spirit, their energy. I want to know more. And they can decide they want to engage further. That's really what a summit's all about. So this format lets you, with the minimal amount of investment of time, money, energy, no money, but the minimal amount of time and energy, discover these speakers. And then the ones you like, you grab their gift, you get into their funnel, into their universe, and go further with them. So that's the concept of the Easy Summit and where I am now.
Well, that's how I met you, Michael. Is it a winding path like these things are? I went to visit a Toastmasters club in another state far away. I met some people there, one of whom was participating in one of your summits. She invited me in. I came in and looked at it, and I was very impressed because it's not just a collection of links. Here are these speakers. There's a whole platform that guides you through and even scores me for how many I listen to. How did you develop this?
So it actually started by misunderstanding someone, as many of my best ideas do. So somebody invited me to speak on their audio summit. And when I heard audio summit, my mind was like, poof. Oh, audio summit. Okay, so it'd be like a podcast on demand, available for 30 days. Kind of a drip summit. Will highlight certain speakers every day, but people can listen to whatever they want. This was my idea. Turns out her idea was something completely different. I got on her summit. I'm like, this isn't what I was thinking of at all. So I thought, okay, how do we do this thing? Well, if it's going to be over the course of a month, we need gamification to keep your attention. Some people respond to getting points for stuff. So that means I need a way to track it. I need a way to keep track of what you listen to. I need a way to recommend more, so that there's always another one to listen to afterwards. And my original thought was, well, I can use Go High Level because that's what I have. And Go High Level is not the tool for this. This is like trying to use a tractor to tow a 18-wheeler. No, it's worse than that. It's like trying to use a Lamborghini to tow a trailer. It just wasn't the right tool. I'd have to make 50 separate pages, but I didn't know anything else. So I went to AI, I went to ChatGPT, and I said, could you build me a page? Because I'd already built like JavaScript widgets in AI, things that I just put on my WordPress site. I'm like, could you build me a WordPress page that we could put in as an argument the speaker number, and it would then customize all the stuff, so I could build one page and plug that into Go High Level for everything else, so I could at least have one page instead of 50 pages. And it said, yeah, I could do that, but for what you're doing, it sounds like what you actually want is a plugin. And I said, you can build a plugin? Little did I know. Sure, yeah, let's build that plugin. So the first one I ran in November, which is the Grateful Growth Summit, Thanksgiving themed.
Yep.
And it was a hybrid between this plugin and Go High Level. And as it turned out, the stuff I needed to do on Go High Level, the email, sending emails and whatnot, it took me more effort to do just work Go High Level than to build all the other stuff. And I said, I think I could probably just build the rest of this and put it all into one tool that does its own thing. And I learned a whole lot about how vibe coding works, AI powered coding. Discovered the limits of what ChatGPT could do and the limits of what Gemini could do. And I discovered integrated developer environments and, various other tools and agentic coding and all these different things. But basically as I went, I'd hit a wall and then I'd go to AI and be like, I hit a wall. What do I need? Oh, next you should be using this tool. Okay, cool. Okay, I hit another wall. Oh, okay, because AI is its own support document. Yep. So I just kind of kept going. When I hit a problem, asked a question, figured it out, and turned out that yes, upgrading my software to do everything and to take all of Go High Level's features and put them internal did take less effort than running a single summit with Go High Level. So March, I ran the first one with the new fully integrated software. And one of the great things about it is because it's AI coded, when someone comes to me and says, hey, could you add this feature? Could you tweak this way? For many of these things, I'm like, yeah, give me a minute. Click, 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 click. Boom. How about that? That look better? Good. Done. I don't have to send it off to the developers. I don't have to pay developers. I don't have to wait 6 weeks for them to get back to me and discover they misunderstood the instructions. So I'm able to do a lot of things. And it's not a terribly complex thing. If I had 1 million users on 7 servers, AI can't handle that for me. If I was hosting, health and financial data, I don't know if AI can handle that for me. But a summit, basically a really pretty database behind the scenes. So it's mostly a matter of understanding what a summit needs to work like and then explaining that to the AI and having it build the tool I need to be able to do that.
That's amazing, Michael. I mean, I'm an old tech reporter, so I've been writing about technology for generations, my children would say. And many of my friends now are starting to play with these tools, but you've actually created something that's production ready and in production. Do you have an idea roughly of how many people have benefited from this? Do you know how many speakers have come through your summits or viewers? Ballpark?
Yeah, so I can ballpark it without having to look it up. I think it's probably about 2,000, maybe 2,500 audience members, and probably about 150 speakers at this point.
Fantastic. When you're looking at a problem and a solution, many people would just, use the standard tools, build a spreadsheet, make a system, do an SOP, get some people to help. You seem to think about these things differently, and I want to understand that.
So, constraints are valuable, is how I'm going to start this answer. So, I don't have the resources to hire a team. If I was a corporate leader and I had a team and a budget, it might not occur to me to go to vibe coding to build it. I'd be like, let's deploy this budget and do what we've always done. I have always done. I don't have employees. I don't have contractors. I don't have the budget to hire contractors. My business as a solopreneur that supports me is fairly successful, but not hire 5 employees successful. So when I want to do something, my favorite of these 7 habits of highly successful people is begin with the end in mind. So start with getting clear. What am I trying to do? Where is this going to end up? And then once I have that idea, which is, with ADHD harder than you think, but once I have that idea of where I want to go with it, now it's how do we get there, right? This can be done. How can we do it? And oftentimes my favorite AI prompts start with can you? So I don't know what AI can do. In some ways, there's some things AI can do that no one knows it can do it because no one's tried it yet. So I will go to AI when I have something like this I don't have the tools for, and I'll say, can you do this? Can you build a summit platform that would be gamified and deliver, whatever? And also, I have some background in computers. I've never been like a professional grade coder, but I did 15 years ago build a database that was the point of sale system for a store and did some other stuff. So I know what a database can do. I know what a website can look like. I know what JavaScript can do. I don't know how to do it, but I know what it can do. So if I know basically what is a summit is a bunch of data stored in a database, the name, the description, the title, the gift, the recording. It's a way to display that. It's a way to keep track of logins and keep track of activity. It's a database fundamentally, and then a front end that makes the database look pretty. So I know that can be done. So then it's go to AI and say, can you do this for me? And it says, yes, I can. Or I know you can do this for me. What's the best way to do it?
Right.
So yeah, it's a lot of the key I find with AI is think of it as a very competent, very confident, very distractible, and fairly lazy person. And when you think of it that way, and I often, because I have a lot of experience with geeks and neurodiverse people, think of it as an autistic person, because AI has a lot of autistic personality traits. That's why when autistic people write, and then you take their writing through an AI analyzer, it shows up as 103% AI, because it's not that it's AI, it's a certain hyper-rational form of writing and thinking. And I've hung out with geeks for decades, so I'm like, oh, I know how these people think. Yeah. So to me, some people are like, I don't understand why AI responds this way. I'm like, AI sounds like every one of my friends in my 20s. So I know exactly how it works. And thus, I also understand my friends would also very confidently give very wrong answers because they heard it somewhere and they misremembered it. But they're pretty sure. And that's exactly how ChatGPT and Claude are. They think they know, they'll tell you. But if you say, could you actually look that up for me, please? They're like, sure. Oh, turns out I'm wrong. As opposed to Gemini and Perplexity, which will look it up first if it's not 110% certain. So, but once you think of it like a person, now it's not a person. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't care about you. It's a computer, and it will tell you that. It will constantly remind you, I have no feelings or emotional attachment to you. But if you think of it as a person, like think of it like an employee, but one who cannot be offended no matter what you say to it, which comes up sometimes in vibe coding. If you think of it that way, then it's much easier to get the results you want, because you're not thinking of it like a computer that will always do the thing it should do,
right?
Which computers don't. But it has human foibles more than computer foibles, and that really saves you a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Michael, we're bumping up against time. I can't believe that went so fast. Some of our viewers may want to learn more about you or get engaged with you. What's the easiest way for them to do that?
So if they want to learn about the summits, they can go to summits.fun. because all summits should be .fun. So summits.fun has a list of all my upcoming summits, and there's a link to learn about the Easy Summits. And if they want to learn about me, they can go to guywhoknowsaguy.com, and you will see my website that was not built by AI, but really should have been because it's hideous. But it does have a bunch of information and links about me, and that's guywhoknowsaguy.com.
We've been visiting with Michael Whitehouse. Michael, thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you all for watching. Have a good day.